Coming up on the Client Solutions Corner, a look at who's building with PLPP. From the solid success of Jim Coker
to South Florida, to one of our biggest base shops, and the guy that helped us roll out the PLPP program, Greg Fitzpatrick.
The first thing I had to do was educate myself about the program. So the first thing I did is I took out the first app.
We've got stories of success from Canada.
Canada needs this product. The Canadian market needs a product like this.
And a special interview with $1 million earner Omar Oropesa.
I own the product, and so owning the product and using the product, and I was amazed.
All this plus more interviews and a special Spanish segment coming up on the Client Solutions Corner. Hello, and welcome to a new show called the Client Solutions Corner. I'm Drew McDonald, Vice President of Client Solutions, and today I'm going to take you on a cross-country trek, talking to our top field leaders about how they're using our legal protection products, both in the US and in Canada. We'll visit with successful RVPs who are using PLPP and PPLS to build their business, hear moving testimonials, and learn how our legal protection program has really helped families. That's a whole lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. My teammate, Robert Crosby, has been traveling across the country to talk to successful builders about using PLPP. Let's find out where Robert is now.
Drew, I've been hearing incredible success stories from people all over about the huge impact PLPP is making in people's lives. I'm going to sit down and talk to some of those people coming up.
Thanks, Robert. I know you also spoke with one of the most successful names in Primerica, $1 million earner Greg Fitzpatrick. Greg actually helped the company roll out this product almost 20 years ago. We'll hear his advice on using PLPP at the kitchen table. And then we'll hear from Canadian Franco Greco on how PPLS is helping his base shop grow and other base shops all across Canada as well. But first, I think Robert is on the move again. Robert, where have you landed?
My travels have taken me here to beautiful South Florida, to this amazing golf course community. I'm at the home of Omar and Danielle Oropesa, and I'm telling you what, they have used PLPP to build a championship business as new $1 million earners. Let's go have a chat with them.
As another $1 million earner, Omar has a little secret to his success. It's PLPP.
You incorporated PLPP into your business, and so tell me about what components of that help your business today.
Well, originally I was like, I don't know about this whole Primerica legal plan thing, but then I own the product, and so owning the product and using the product, and I was amazed how, wow, this really does work. Then I really learned it, and I started training on it. I started to run training on it, and what I learned is the more that we ran training on the product, the reps wanted it. They said, man, that's great, I want it, and then their uncles and their aunts wanted it, and their parents wanted it, and so it just evolved out of me owning the product and using the product.
So tell me how you incorporate PLPP when you're training other teams.
If you use the product properly, if you write them up and then you, the representative, work on their will questionnaire with them. This is what nobody ever does, but they ought to, right? So you wrote them up with the product, and now you're working on their will questionnaire with them. You ask them questions like, if you guys weren't there today, if you weren't there tomorrow, who would raise your kids? And so normally it's one person that would raise the kids that's loving and caring, and there's one that's great handling the money, and they're related to them. And then we say, isn't it smart, isn't it logical that they would know who I am? They would learn what we worked on with you, so the whole transition is a lot smoother. And they say, yeah, that's a great idea. So would you drive with me over there so that you're there with me, because I don't really want to walk into a stranger's home, And then now that gives me a chance, to recruit you, because now I'm with your brother in his home with you right there next to me, right? We're explaining what we worked on with you, the will, power of attorney, the life insurance, the F&A. So now we have a chance not only to recruit you if we've not already recruited you, but recruit your brother, because he's going to look at this like, man, this is amazing, this is unbelievable. And so if you use it properly, you use that will questionnaire, it'll lead you to the warmest of their, not even their warm market, their flaming hot market, the one they're going to trust with their kids. So it's an F&A, it's a recruit, it's a life app, it's a rollover. It's just going to lead you to more and more and more stuff.
Now in Canada, PLPP has another name. It's PPLS. It may sound a little different, but Robert found out from NSD Franco Greco just how effective PPLS can be.
So I think the Canadian landscape right now demands a service like this. The prepaid legal program is huge because when you understand the way most Canadians think, they don't know their rights. So whether it comes down to them getting their wills done, most people have no idea what would happen should, they would die intestate. So that's a big issue for us up there. And, we're sitting down with families on a regular basis, and the vast majority of them don't have a will done. When you can figure, the letters on our behalf, the phone calls that are done on behalf. If somebody owes money to someone, they can get phone calls set out. If you have an issue, we've used this example before, but in order to be convincing, you've got to be convinced. And ourselves personally, we've used the service on a regular basis. We continue to use it for the last several years. Anytime something goes on, we're always sending out letters, legal letters from the lawyers and stuff, and it's effective in getting what you need to get done.
Right, you get hurt all of a sudden, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me about how you use this to build your business.
Absolutely. I think for us, there's real two things that we're here to do in Primerica, and we're trying to do both these at the same time. We're here to build a licensed agent base. That's a big end of our time. We're investing there. The other part of our time that we're investing is to build a client base.
Yeah.
So everything we do, whenever a product comes out, we're always looking to see how this can achieve the greater goal of what we're trying to do in terms of building our Primerica business.
Right.
So if you're going to take it on one side, let's look at, for example, the building our client base. We're sitting down with people. The prepaid legal applications are inside the life policies. When we're delivering policies, they're already pretty much pre-populated. There's really no thinking involved there. So we're sitting down with people and we're setting them up with the program. And one of the questions that we would ask people is, look, if something were to happen to you, who would be the one that would take over, guardianship of your kids?
Sure.
And so when we speak about that, then what will happen is they'll mention, well, my sister or my sister-in-law or my mother or whatever it is. So then we'll lead it out and say, well, listen, don't you think it's a good idea that I know these people? They get to know who I am.
Sure.
They have my phone number. We've had a conversation at some point. If someone's going to have to raise your kids or take care of them financially, doesn't it make sure that they have their finances in order? Listen, you think you can refer me over to them and put in a good word, and maybe I can give them a call and discuss a little more in terms of what I do?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, that's magic. Yeah.
That's what we'll do for the client side. Now, on the recruiting side, for us, we'll use this because this is one of the tools that an unlicensed agent can get compensated in Primerica. Okay, it's one of the few ones that we have up in Canada that somebody can get compensated. Because I think when you describe the features and the benefits that the prepaid legal program will offer, it's very easy to get people excited about what it does and what the program does as a whole. And then we'll use that, we'll bring that back to the recruiting side saying, listen, I was talking a bit about the opportunity. You were telling me you were interested in making some extra income. Just to let you know, if you were to enroll with our company, one of the products that you can do for yourself is this prepaid legal service, and you can turn around and get compensated on your own program. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah. What's your message for new people? How to get started with this program?
First thing I would say is take a look at your own situation. I know with us, it helped us immensely in not just one area, in many areas of our lives. I mean, I've always said, make sure your wills are in place. Get that done so that way you can go out there and you can talk about it.
Whether in Canada or the U.S., legal protection is a great way for new recruits to help families.
PLPP has always been a tool that we have used from the very beginning. We were very lucky to get some great training early on in our careers, and it's just really become, one of the main staples when we sit down and we talk to families. We want to make sure, of course, that they have term insurance in place. That's the foundation that we begin with, and then we help them implement PLPP, and it's just such a normal part of our process, such a normal part of what we do. And we do that we talk about it, of course, in the presentation, and then we talk about it when we're gathering data for the FNA, and we just set the expectation that when we get back together with them to implement everything else, that establishing the will and the living will and the durable power of attorney will be part of that process. And we get back together and do that, and so it's really, I think it's a gem. I think it's a treasure that probably goes maybe a little unused. It's just not really. It's super valuable, and most middle-income families have not established a will or a living will or durable power of attorney. And so what we find is when we sit down with folks, I would probably ask them, do you want to make the decisions, or do you want someone else making those decisions for you? Especially when it comes to your kids, and what would happen if both of you passed away. So that service, that product is so very important for middle-income families today.
Now, I remember some of the guys that are leaders now, when they just came into your business, they were doing really well with premium, they were doing really well with PLPP. Do you feel like that helped the confidence level of some of your leaders when they came in?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when a district can earn $80 helping explain an incredibly valuable tool and a paperwork that takes about 5 minutes. I mean, of course that builds their confidence because they can be successful because it's such an easy service to market.
There's nothing like firsthand experience using our products and knowing what they can do for you. Talk to someone who's a believer, like SNSD Jim Coker.
Jim, you've built an incredible Primerica business, and from the beginning, when we first brought PLPP on board, you've been a great supporter, and you've always had a great team. What about the PLPP program really brought you on board with and teaching your team and doing such a good job with it?
Well, we have been blessed with a great team. What attracted me to PLPP was the same thing that attracted me to Primerica. When I first came to Primerica, I saw a great need for term insurance and invested difference. Then when we brought PLPP in, I saw another great need. Middle-class Americans, most of them don't have a will. They don't have access to attorneys, really, without huge expense. And I saw that how it could benefit most of our clients. And so we just realized how important it is for middle-class Americans to have that access. And so that's why we saw the need, and we'd always heard find a need and fill it, and we saw the crusade there. And so we've always loved the product and what it does for our clients.
Good. So is there a niche for how to bring this to your team or how to teach this to your hierarchy?
Yeah, it started with our own personal usage of it.
Okay.
I eat my own home cooking, and so I started as a client, and then our associates started as clients. So what's happened in my base shop, we have a great number of people that have used PLPP at different times in their lives, and they'll give testimony after testimony of how that it's made a difference, how much better it was, how it made a difference in their life. It becomes really a part of our culture that people join us, they get PLPP, some of them take advantage of it. And then of course, if to be believed, you have to believe.
Right.
And so because they believe in it themselves and because I believe it themselves, then it naturally becomes a transference and part of our culture to share this great service with our clients.
Your regional leaders have a great opportunity here as they're trying to build towards the RVP level, and this is a great opportunity for them to help with cash.
Exactly right. It's really a win-win-win, it's a win for our company, it's a win for the client, and it's also a win for our agent. It just is a great a way to develop their income, to help develop their income, and seal their income. But also then it helps keep their insurance clients in the books. Because the more services that our clients are taking advantage of, the more likely they are to keep all our services. Right. And so it helps us with our persistency as well.
Some other leaders who have found success with PLPP are RVPs like Nicole Williams, who has a personal connection.
I have had a client that had a great success story. Actually, her son was pulled over, and because he was on her policy with the PLPP, he was able to let them know that they had representation. It kind of slowed down some things that could have gotten out of hand. And she does send us people. As a matter of fact, we did get 3 or 4 referrals from it just out of her family. So yes, definitely success stories and getting referrals from it is a big deal.
So Nicole, when I look at your numbers, PLPP is one of the things that you're really doing a good job with. Tell me how you've embraced the PLPP program.
Well, we use the house as a part of it, and we've embraced it because families need it. There's so many various things that go along with it as far as having a directive, a healthcare directive when you have older children, making sure you have your will in place, power of attorney, healthcare surrogate. So my team and I, we talk about it a lot, and we make sure that we want to tie more than one product to a family, because it really helps them understand that we do more than life insurance. We cover all bases.
So Nicole, is there anything else you can think of that you could talk about that would help others embrace the PLPP program?
It definitely brings additional income, and anywhere you can get income, you definitely want to get it from, but it's a great service for the client. I have it myself. I've had it since I've been in Primerica, and I've used it.
Back in Florida, Robert dropped in on the guy who helped put PLPP on the map. He knows the product and the company inside and out.
So the first thing I did is I took out the first app. And so when I got the package and got all the things there, I just took a lot of time myself. Because the thing that I knew, Robert, was that if a company was going to introduce something, they had already done their due diligence. It was already that. So it was my job to go ahead and look at everything we were going to do. And so I made a point of learning the product. I didn't know I was going to use it as quick as I did. I think the first week, something came up that I actually called them. And right away, I saw how professional it was and what an advantage it was. And if I had not had the product, I would have not known what to do.
So Greg, you've actually met the senior partners of the law firm, and so you've been able to see firsthand the professionalism that they bring to Middle America.
And that's one of the things I was unbelievably impressed with also, is just the fact of the firms that we use and the company uses to be able to do that. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance to visit a law firm and go introduce yourself, and meet the attorneys and do all that kind of stuff, you even get a better feeling of that aspect of our business.
What is Greg Fitzpatrick's advice for this new generation to embrace PLPP?
Well, the first thing I would do, Robert, is giving people direction to, go to POL and go to the product tab and go to the PLPP tab and take 30 minutes or half an hour, 45 minutes, take some time to study the product. We have everything on there, from describing the product to testimonials, how the product works, how the compensation works. And so get a real feeling of really how the product really works. And after doing that, determine themselves whether or not that's something that they need themselves. And if they do, that's something that they can decide to do. And then they become more of a benefit of understanding the product when they get their package and they open it up and they see what it is. And everybody has the impression when they do that is, man, everybody needs to have this thing.
And that wraps up our show for today. Thanks to everyone across North America who shared their stories and advice of how to be successful using PLPP. For Robert Crosby and myself, thanks for watching the Client Solutions Corner. I'm Drew McDonald, and we'll see you next time.